Hello everyone, this is Stephanie. Welcome to another video. So today we're making a sweater. Well, no, not really. We are actually going to continue with our herringbone with 2-hole beads. Now we did the SuperDuos, and the whole bracelet is right here of SuperDuos, and that was just such a blast. I know it's been around for a long time, but I hadn't done it, so I thought, wow, why not do it? It was a lot of fun. So I'm going to link that one down below in the description box. And what we're going to do today is we're going to do samples of the half Tilas, these bricks, and then I found some StormDuos in my stash, and I thought, well, let's give those a try. So here, these are both StormDuos, and depending on which way, how you put your needle through the hole in the bead, because the StormDuo is kind of like an S, so you can put it in like with the rounded side of the S or the indented side of the S. It comes out different each time. So how cool is that? So absolutely loved playing with these. So we'll do all of these today. If you want to do a bracelet, as I said, I'm going to link the bracelet video down below in the description box so you can continue on and put the ends on and the clasp on. All right, so really all you're going to need for this, so I'm not going to do a separate materials list, is just a bunch of either half Tilas, brick beads, or StormDuos, just to practice and play a little bit. If you want full amounts, you're going to go, and to make a bracelet, you'll go to this video, which I said will be linked down below, and you'll get all the materials that you need there. All right, so I'm going to clear my arm off and we'll get started. Don't forget to like and subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified when I upload a video. Thanks. Okay, let's do a half Tila sample. So here I've threaded my needle, with just enough of thread to play with, a few feet. If you're making a bracelet, just make it longer. I put on a stop bead to hold my beads on, with the tail. And I've picked up and dropped down to my stop bead 2 11/0s, a half Tila, 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 2 11/0s, and a half Tila. Now you can do any combination of you can do any number of Tilas you like with 2 11/0s in between. You can do 4, you can do 6, whatever you like. So I find that to get this first row done, if I hold my piece, let me see if I can get it straightened out. There we go. If I go like this, and I hold my piece so all the beads are upright like this on my finger, it's hard to do, but it just makes it easier to get this first stinky row done. So 2 11/0s. Just going to decorate the outside of this outside Tila that we're exiting. You can use 15/0s here if you like. I'm going to sew through the top hole of that Tila, and I'm just going to hold my thumb on it. I just want to make sure that everybody's staying upright. 11/0 and the color Tila that I'm exiting. So here I'm exiting a brass or bronze one here, and you can pick your Tila up so that the sort of rounded part, it's slightly rounded on the top, and then it's a little flatter on the bottom. I'm just going to pick them up at random because this is more just for learning how to do this stitch rather than placing them absolutely perfectly. So I don't really care that they're not, that the flat side is on the bottom and the slightly rounded side is on the top. So here I've picked up my 11/0, my half Tila. I'm going to sew through these 2 11/0s right here. I'm just going to put my thumb on it, and I'm going to go very slow. I'm going to pull that through like that, and then just don't worry about it, let it sit like that. I'm going to sew through the top hole of this Tila. So I've come through these 2 11/0s, and now I'm going to sew through the top hole of that next Tila. So through the 2 11/0s and the top hole of the next Tila. And then what you want to do is you want to make sure this guy is flopped over and that the hole, the open hole, is at the top. So you see how this one's slanting this way, this one's slanting that way. Let's do it again. 11/0, color of the Tila I'm exiting, and this is what I have. I'm going to sew through, I'm exiting here, I'm going to sew through these 2 11/0s here. I'm just going to put my finger on my needle, put my finger on everything when I pull so it doesn't just pull it out of my hand. I'm going to let it come down, and I'm going to sew through, so I'm coming out of the 2 11/0s, the top hole of the next Tila. And then I'm just going to flip this guy over, and now he is in the proper place. This is going to curve into a circle. Don't worry about it. Let's do it again. Give it a little pull. 11-0, Tila I am. Color of the Tila I'm exiting, so it's a green one. I'm going to sew through these two, and if you want to do it all in one stroke, just sew through the top hole of the next Tila as well. I just find it a little difficult to do that. Let's see if we can get that. There we go. So if you want to do that, you can, or you can just do it in 2 steps like I've been doing it. I'm going to pull like that, make sure that flips over so it looks like this. Again, 11-0, green one. Exiting here, going to sew through these 2 and the top hole of the next one, if you want to get them all at once. Holding it with my thumb and forefinger, pulling, making sure that Tila pops into place. See how it's turning into a circle now? That's just what you want. And it's going to be a straight bracelet. Honestly, I know it's the weirdest thing. So this is what I have so far. Let's put that last bead on. 11-0, Tila I'm exiting, which is the bronze one. I'm going to sew through these 2. I don't have anything else to sew into, so I'm just going to sew through the last 2 11-0s, holding my thumb on it. And then I'm just going to let this guy pop over so it's standing upright. So you see how the holes of all my beads that I put on are facing up. And if they're not, here, I'll put it down here. If they're not, put them down and make them face up. You know, you'll see the hole, right? So here's the top, the open hole. If it's sitting down like that, just flop it over. So this is what it looks like. Okay, let me pick it up. I'm exiting these 2 11-0s here. I'm just going to flip my piece over like that. See, so now that my stop bead is on the other side and all my beads are still sticking up, I'm going to pick up an 11-0 just on this side, and I'm going to pick up and I'm going to sew through this top hole of the Tila I'm exiting. So I'm trying to get it to, you know, I'm decorating that side, but I already had a couple of beads there, so I'm just going to do it like that. And this is what it looks like. All right, so just get to that point and come back and we'll continue. Okay, hardest part done. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start adding beads on, and it's going to start to straighten this piece out. So I'm going to pick up an 11-0 and the color I'm exiting, which is the bronze one. I'm going to sew through this 11-0 right here, and then the first Tila I put on over here, see that, where that has the open hole, no thread coming out of that hole, like that. Pop that into place. I'm going to pick up an 11-0 and then the Tila, the half Tila my thread is exiting, so that's the green one. I'm going to sew through this 11-0 and then and over to this one with the hole that's sticking out. See, that has no thread in the hole? It's amazing how all of a sudden it starts to straighten out once you do the second and third rows. Make sure that pops into place. So mine's kind of twisting a little bit. There we go. Okay. 11-0. Color of the Tila I'm exiting, so that's a green one. And here, there's my next bead I'm going to sew through after the 11-0. So I have my 11-0, my half Tila on. I'm going to sew through this 11-0 and then this one, right? So I'm not sewing through this one. This one already has thread through it. If you do it really slowly, if you haven't done this before, and then when I pull, see what happens? See how it's starting to straighten out already? So if you haven't done it before, and it's, you know, just have faith that it's going to straighten out and it's going to be beautiful. So 11-0 color I'm exiting through this 11-0 and then this half Tila. So we're not going through the ones that have thread in it already. Pull that Hello. 11-0. Bronze Tila, so the one I'm exiting. Just sewing through this 11-0 right here. So it looks like I'm just going to flip it over. So I'm going in this direction again. I'm going to pick up 2 11-0s and sew through the other side of the Tila that I was exiting. So see how it's starting to straighten out? So just get to this point. I know you might have to rewind, just do it very slowly, and then come back, and the easy part is happening now. Okay, let's get the whole bracelet easily done now. So an 11-0, Tila I'm exiting. Sew through this 11-0 and then the top hole of that next Tila. 11-0, Tila I'm exiting. Through this 11-0 and the top hole of the next Tila. Like that. 11-0, color of the Tila I'm exiting. Through this one and then this one, the top hole of the next one. Look at that, how it just straightens out. 11-0, Tila, the color I'm exiting, sewing through this one and the last one. 11-0, color of the Tila I'm exiting, so that's the bronze one, just sewing through this 11-0 right here. Flipping it over. 2 11-0s, 15-0s, whatever you like there, just to decorate the end. And look how straight it is now. Isn't that cool? I just think it's so cool. Let's do one more row. 11-0, Tila, color of the Tila I'm exiting, so the bronze one. Sew through the 11-0 and the next Tila. 11-0, color of the Tila I'm exiting, which is the green one. Sew through this one and then the next one. So this 11-0 and then the Tila. 11-0, Tila, the color I'm exiting, which is a green one. Sewing through the 11-0 and the next Tila. 11-0, color of the Tila I'm exiting, which is the green one. Sewing through this one, the 11-0 and the Tila, the half Tila. 11-0, Tila, half Tila of the color I'm exiting, sewing through the last 11-0. Popping that into place. Isn't that beautiful? Flipping it over. 2 11-0s through this one. And then you're just going to repeat just that same row over and over again until you get the length of the bracelet, of your bracelet. And then of course, you know, I'm linking the bracelet, the entire bracelet in the description box below the video, so you can do the, you know, the ending and then add the clasp and all that. But I just wanted to, you know, for those of you, a lot of you asked me, please do it with half Tilas, please do it with some other beads. So I figure we'll just do samples so that you can get an idea how to start each kind of bead. So here you go. Here's your half Tila version. Okay. So come on back and we'll work on the StormDuo version. Okay, now we're going to do the one with the StormDuos. Now, I've already completed a couple of samples here, but we're going to do this one on the video, so that'll be the next clip. But I just wanted to show you the difference. So in this one, I'm going to pick up my StormDuo. Right, my needle's going to go through this bottom hole where the bump out is here. So you notice it's like a swirl. So this side goes in, this side pops out. And on this one, I picked it up with the indented side. Each time I picked one up, I picked it up this way. All right, so do you see how I see the difference? And this is how it looks. It's a little different. And also the way I put the colors on and the amounts of beads, it's weird. It's like an optical illusion almost. It looks so different. So how you put the bead on is going to make a difference on how it looks when you're finished. So the next clip, we'll be doing this one. But if you want it to look more like this, you're going to put it on, you're going to put your bead on this way with the sort of indented side. And this one is going to be with the sort of bumped out edge. All right, so come on back and we'll get started on this piece. Okay, we're back. So let's do the StormDuo, which is so my favorite. I just think that's so pretty. All right, so you're going to do the same thing. Thread your needle with some thread, put on a stop bead. We're going to pick up 2 11-0s and then the first StormDuo. But notice I'm picking it up. It's like an S. I'm picking it up with the bump out. You know, I'm going through the bump part rather than sort of the recess part. Just picking it up the same way every time. Just like the continuity of that. 2 11-0s. The next one, 2 11-0s, storm, 2 11-0s, and a storm. So I'm doing, of course, 4 of them. Just going to drop those down. And I'm going to put it on my finger, just like I did the half Tilas. Okay, let's get some beads on the side. So picking up 2 11-0s, I'm just going to sew through the top hole of the StormDuo I'm exiting. Like that. Just going to pull I'm going to pull my tail thread up a little bit. There we go. So now I am exiting here. Pick up an 11-0 and the color I'm exiting. So that's this color here, so this copper color, and notice how I'm picking it up. Now you're just going to go through just like before. And this is just a little harder because they don't sort of mesh together as much as the others. So here, just going through, I'm going to go just through the 2 11-0s first and pop that into place. See how it goes into place like that? And then I'm going to go through the top hole of this one. Just a little easier to do it separately, but you can do them at the same time if you like. That's what it looks like. So one is this way, one is going up that way. 11-0 color I'm exiting. So the gold one. Again, we're going to go through these 2 11-0s. I'm going to put that into place. I'm going to make sure that my thread is straight, and then I'm going to sew through the top hole of the next StormDuo. Pull. Get that on my finger. There we go. 11-0 color of the storm I'm exiting. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to sew through these 2. $11-0s down there at the bottom. Like that. So let me put my stopping on a little better. And then I'm going to go through the top hole of the next storm. And like I said, if you want to do them all at the same time, you can. But I just find that with these particular beads, because they're a little fussy, it's easier to do it this way. I'm going to pick up an 11-0, the storm I'm exiting, and I'm going to sew through these 2 11-0s. I'm going to pop those into place, and this is what I have. All right, so get that done and come back and we'll continue. Okay, I'm just going to turn it over. Like that. So my stop bead is on this side now. I'm going to pick up an 11-0 and sew through the top hole of the next, of this StormDuo, the one I'm exiting. 11-0 color I'm exiting. I'm going to sew through this 11-0, get in there, bypassing that green one, because that's already on, and going through the top hole of the next gold one. Giving that a pull, and what you can do here is after you get it on, straighten everybody out, you can pull in this direction a little bit. See how it pulls it together? 11-0 color I'm exiting. It's the gold one. So through this one, just the 11-0, skip that one that's already on there, and sew through the top hole of the next one. Letting that sit into place. Once it's in place and I know that my threads are all going right, pulling in this direction. 11-0 color I am exiting, sewing through. Oops. Okay, so here, just to show you, if that happens to you, see how the one with the hole at the top flipped onto the flipped over? I'm just going to turn it back over this way. So it just went like that. This needs to be at the bottom, like that. So you remember, you always want those holes at the top. So I'm glad that happened, because if it happens to you and it's sitting like this, like, what do I do? Just do that. Okay. So going through, sewing through this 11-0, and then this one. Letting that pop into place, pulling in this direction, just like that. 11-0, color I'm exiting, just through this last 11-0, just the 11-0. Making sure that pops into place. It's like that. Now it's getting easy. Flip it over. 2 11-0s through this one. All right, get to this point and we'll just do another row after this. Okay, easy part. 11-0, color I'm exiting, sew through this 11-0 and the top hole of the next one, which is the gold one, pulling in this direction. 11-0, color I'm exiting, sewing through this 11-0 and then the top hole of the next one. This is what you're going to just do, you know, repeat, the zero repeat all the way to the end. 11-0, color I'm exiting, which is a gold one, sewing through this one, and the green one. Green one, sewing through this last 11-0, just like that. Make sure it flips into place. See, mine was tilted over again. There we go. Now we're in the right place. Turn it over, 2 11-0s. So through this one. So just get to that point and then come on back and we'll continue. Okay, let's do the bricks. So I'm doing the same exact thing, threading my needle, putting on a stop bead, 2 11-0s a brick, 2 11-0s a brick, 2 11-0s a brick, 2 11-0s and a brick. Okay, so we're doing the exact same thing for each one. The only one that was slightly different, you know, was a little bit more difficult, was the StormDuo, because the way they sit. But I did notice that the more I do this first row, which I've been doing a lot lately, the better I get at it. So 2 11-0s to decorate the side, an 11-0 and a brick, through these two, the 2 11-0s and the top hole of the next brick. Give me a pull. Making sure that brick sits at an angle. 11-0 brick through the 2 11-0s and the top hole of the next brick, still holding it with my thumb and forefinger. It just is easier if you really hold it so that they don't flop around all over the place. And then just make sure you're pulling that into position. Like that. 11-0 and a brick. Through these two. At the top hole of the next brick. If you can get them. There we go. Make sure that pops into place. You're going to pull, hold it with your thumb and then pull it with your other hand. Just like that. 11-0, my last brick. Just sewing through these two 11-0s at the end. Still holding it like that. Making sure it's not twisted. So you see it's twisting a little bit. So you want to make sure that the thread is all going the right direction. Flipping it over. Nice and curved. 2 11-0s. Or 1 11-0. Just decorate the side. 11-0 brick. Just going to go on through this one and the next top hole of that brick. You know, the empty hole. Pulling it into place. Again, pulling it this way. 11-0 brick. This is so much easier than the StormDuo, but the StormDuo, I just think it's so pretty. So through this guy. So the 11-0 in the top hole of that brick stitch, of that brick. 11-0 brick. This one, this one. I'm going a little faster now because we've kind of established how to do it. I'm just doing it with you, just giving you a little example. 11-0 brick through the end one. So that end 11-0, pop that into place, pull, you can flip it over. 2 11-0s through this brick. 11-0 brick. This one through this 11-0 and this brick. So very easy now. So this is, everything fits together so nicely. 11-0 brick. Pulling. 11-0 brick. Through this one and the brick. Pulling. 11-0 brick through this last 11-0. Pulling it into place. Flipping it over. 2 11-0s. So you see how you can breeze through this once you get that first round on. And that's all you're going to do, just like the others. All right, so get your sample done of that and come on back and we'll finish it. Okay, we're done with all our samples. So here they all are. We have the half Tila, the StormDuo's 2 ways, and the brick bead here. My favorite is this one. I just love it with putting on that StormDuo, going through the, the indented part of the bottom of the bead rather than the bumped out. This is the bumped out part. Pretty as well, but I don't know, I'm loving this one. It's very lacy looking. It does show a little more thread than the others, but I'm okay with that because I adore it. I'm going to order the beads to finish this. So here is the SuperDuo bracelet. So you're going to use the bracelet end, and putting on the clasp the same exact way for all of these. If you want to make a bracelet, here's just another colorway. I'll link the bracelet down below. So if you want to do the entire bracelet and use, put a clasp on, you have all the instructions to do that. All right, so I want to thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.